All right, guys. This will be your video with directions about how small group and stations are going to work over the next couple of days in class. This is your checklist. This means these are all the things that you need to get done tomorrow, which is Friday, the following Monday, and then maybe a little bit of time on Tuesday, just depending on how things are going. But I'm going to explain all of these to you. This you will not need to turn into me. This is purely for you to check off as you go. But I would recommend that you do that just to keep yourself organized. All right, remember that the goal for stations is for me to be able to let you guys practice prior to your test, which will be next Wednesday, and also to allow me to work with small groups of students. So the reason that we're doing this video is so that you know everything that you need to do and work on, and that will allow me to work with students in a small group and address any issues that they might be or questions that they might have. So what I would like for you to remember that if I'm with a group of students, I cannot help you at that time. I'm going to expect that you work with the person that is sitting across from you. Whisper voices. If there's absolutely something that you cannot answer between the two of you, then of course when I get done with the group, raise your hand and I will come over there and I will help you, okay? Let's start first with this square roots start to finish puzzle. So this is going to be your recording sheet, and it's pretty simple. Let me try to zoom out for a second. Okay, so you will start at the beginning, and then you will go until it says finish. These pieces, okay, you are going to cut apart, and then you will, of course, start with the start one, find the square root of 121. The square root of 121 would be 11, so this would be your next one. So this would be your start, this would be 11, then you would get your next clue and go on and on and on until you got to the finish. This involves both perfect squares, some vocabulary about square roots, but everything that we've been covering in class lately. And so once you have done this one, you will check it off your checklist. You will turn it into the box and you will move on, okay? So that's the square roots. The scientific notation practice is this kind of pinkish paper. I am modifying something that used to be a digital assignment. So what you will do instead of dragging them over is just using this as kind of your word box or, you know, question bank or whatever you want to call it. And you will put, once you read the question, you will put the correct answer into the box, okay? Obviously, there's 4 questions. There are tons of answer choices. You are not going to use all of the answer choices, okay? And this one is front and back, so this is word problems. And then this one is just a general, the value is in standard notation, right? So now we need to write it, or I'm sorry, the value is in scientific notation. Now you need to tell me what it is in standard notation, okay? So you will do that, both sides of this. You will write your name on it. You will turn it in, okay? Then you will check it off your checklist. The next thing we have is the classifying real numbers practice. Again, that is this orange paper that used to be digital that I am making into a paper assignment. So you will read the description, find the matching value that matches that description. Obviously, you're not going to use all of them. There's only 5 right here, and there are 10 that you can choose from. So again, you're using these kind of as a word bank, a number bank, if you will, to put into those blank boxes here. You don't have to cut. You don't have to paste. We're not going to make it that complicated. Just use that as a word bank, okay? On the back side, same thing. You will use this as the numbers that you put into the graphic organizer. Remember that both rational and irrational are all real numbers, and then rational has very different sets and subsets within them. So remember, when you were looking at these, you were looking for the most specific set that it will belong in. And then remember, if it's a perfect square, like 36 is a perfect square, it can be simplified into a set over here. If it is not a perfect square, that's when it's going to be irrational, okay? Just because it has a square root sign does not mean that it's automatically going to be irrational. It has to be not a perfect square in order for that to be irrational. All right, so that is this paper. You will write your name on it. You will turn it in. Then Yes, this is in your book, but I didn't want to have you go back and forth. This is a concept check. We are only doing problems 7 through 11. 7 through 11. So if you're like, Mrs. Brown, where did 1 through 6 go? You're not doing those. You're only doing 7 through 11 on this paper. Okay, so again, you will do these. We have practiced a lot with Think Up in class lately. This should be very familiar to you. You will complete this. You will write your name on it. You will turn it in. Okay, and the last thing. Now, I should tell you, these 4 papers, okay, what I will probably do is grade them and take 1 grade for all of the small groups. So take a grade of all 4 and then average them together if that makes sense. Okay? If you have questions about that later, I'll be happy to answer them. So you will turn those in. The last thing, we are moving on to equations and inequalities. That's our next unit. So what I would like for you to do, this is a pre-assessment. You are not supposed to know everything. That's why it's called a pre-assessment. Also, it says it's not a grade. So you need to try your best on it. It's just to help Mrs. Brown know how much time she needs to spend on certain things. If you guys have a very good understanding of one-step equations, I don't have to spend time on one-step equations. We can do a quick little notes, little activity, and then move on, okay? So that's why we're doing this. I think this is about 8 questions, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, 7 questions, I'm sorry. 7 questions. Do your best on them. If there's something that you absolutely do not know, write a question mark out to the side of it, and that will tell me that that is something that we need to address in class. But I feel very confident that you're going to be able to answer some of these, okay? Again, these 4 assignments are going to be for a grade, so I would start there and make your the equations pre-assessment last, okay? If I were you, that's what I would plan on doing. Now, we begin this on Friday, so my goal, if it were me working on this, would be to do 2 on Friday, right? 2 on Monday, and then leave that equations pre-assessment for that little small Tuesday that we have, because it's going to be a shortened schedule due to the pep rally. So what I would like for you to do now, I am going to put a little this video in Google Classroom. This is going to be your homework this evening, and I would like for you to tell me if you have any questions about this. You can send me a private comment, but I want to make sure that everybody has watched this video so they know exactly what to do when they come into class, and we don't have to spend a lot of time with directions and clarifying directions, because everything on here should be a review, okay? And a review and a practice. All right, guys, thank you.